Hi everyone, Luke here from Figmento Films. Sorry I haven't been by for so long, I've just been really busy. We're still in lockdown, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to make a series of reviews regarding equipment that is more budget friendly. Now if you're a small up and coming filmmaker or a small business like myself, then you're already aware that every single purchasing decision that you make has to be budget conscious. And in the first in this series, I wanted to look at the K&F Concept Black Mist filter. Now you've probably heard the term cinematic look, and I've done a video about that which I'll leave in the description below. But if you are trying to achieve a look that kind of replicates old sort of film stock to give that vintage nostalgic feel, this might be a really good alternative to the more expensive versions like the Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter. We're going to do a few tests, it should be really fun, so without further ado, let's get on with it. As always guys, don't forget to hit the sub button and the bell icon to keep notified of future videos. So in today's video we're looking at the K&F Concept Black Mist filter. So what is the Black Mist filter? Well, if you've been doing filmmaking for a while or a small budget filmmaker, you've probably come across these. They're diffusion filters. They're really cool because essentially they reduce the highlights and help lower the contrast. And they have this really cool effect called halation, which creates a soft haze around lit objects. Now there's many different versions. I'm obviously using the K&F Concept version. It's a 77mm quarter stop of diffusion. Other brands include most famously Tiffin and their Black Pro Mist filter, but there's also another brand out there called Moment and another brand called Dream FX. They all essentially do the same thing. They diffuse the light. So why would you use one of these type of filters? Well, they help create a kind of dreamy, vintage, nostalgic feel. And usually you can get them in different stops as well. So some might be more powerful than others. Personally, I like the effect to be a little bit more subtle, but it definitely does take the edge off some of the more modern lenses, which are typically very sharp. It helps sort of take the edge off a tiny bit, keep it soft and make it vintage and nostalgic. So what does it look like? So this is a look. Can you notice anything different? To me, I think it's kind of a subtle effect, but this is all I'd really want, to be honest. You might notice there's a softer gradation between the lighter and the darker areas on my face. This is one of the sort of effects that it does. It softens the details, and like I said earlier as well, kind of reduces the highlights, lowers the contrast a little bit. There's a few different versions you could get. You could go for the Tiffin Black Pro Mist, the infamous, the most sort of commonly used one. However, they will set you back typically over $100. You can get a Moment one. I think the 77mm Moment filter is around $75, and you can get a Dream FX one. Dream FX sounds good, it's $64, but then they have an extortionate shipping cost outside of the US. Only going to set you back a cool $66. Yeah, legit, that's insane considering Moment are doing free shipping, and I think Tiffin were doing free shipping as well. We'd have to double check that. So if you're liking what you're seeing, we're going to try and exploit this filter a little bit more through a series of tests. So I'm going to do a little reset in a minute and just sort of bring some lights in behind me to really show off the halation. And I'm going to talk you through some of the things you might notice. We're going to do some with the filter on and with the filter off. And hopefully after that, we can take this to outdoors. Now, the Great British weather might be a bit dull at the moment. I was hoping for a bit of sunshine, so fingers crossed. But I'd like to see how this reacts in sort of a very natural, real world environment. Okay, so in this quick test, the filter is on the lens on the left and there is no filter on the right. I'm showing you at different apertures to show you how the effect kind of diminishes at different apertures, but pay attention to that halation and that sort of blooming effect. Also look at the contrast, the details, and the way the light rolls off the subject. I'd also like to thank Shovel Knight for making a special appearance in today's video. And in the next test, which is what I'm most excited about, we're going to take this outdoors, and I've just put together a little video of Stratford at night. So really hope you enjoyed those tests. And just before we jump into the pros and cons, I want to do one last thing. And that is, before I got a diffusion filter and really thought about, did I need one or not? I wanted to test one. So I brought a really cheap one, a Zomi one for like £10. Now, would I recommend a really cheap one? Well, it's your artistic choice, but in my opinion, that isn't a very good filter. It has a different style of diffusion. I can't really explain. It's kind of got like a web texture to it. Now, the reason I wouldn't recommend it is because not only is it very, very soft, that strange texture isn't very uniform compared to the Black Mist filter, and I think that could be a hindrance when you're looking at focusing and when you're looking at trying to get a consistent image. That is too much of a concession. At the same time, it's £10 and you might be able to do something really cool with it. And if you want to see what that looks like, wow, it looks like this. This is focused. This is focused. It's just completely, like, massively over the top. Yeah, so this is where, when you're making budget conscious decisions, you know, there is a rule of don't, you know, if you buy cheap, you buy twice. And I do believe in this. There's also the sort of law of diminishing returns as well, which has a lot of truth to it. Want to try and find that middle ground, and I do think the K&F concept filter is that middle ground. So we've got we're back to the K&F concept Black Mist filter now, which looks much more favorable. So some pros with this lens are it's much cheaper than the Tiffin Black Pro Mist filter. You can get those filters cheaper on eBay and whatnot, but if I'm buying a filter to go over my glass, I'd rather buy new, to be honest with you. I don't want to risk any imperfections. There are some other filters out there as well that are similarly priced, but I feel like this feels like the best middle ground. On the K&F website, it's free international shipping as well. This filter on Amazon was like £90 for some reason, but on K&F, it was free shipping and it worked out to only a fraction over £50. And I thought I'd be waiting for it for weeks. It took like a week to come. I was really, really impressed. I like the uniformity of the diffusion as well. I like that it's a noticeable effect, but it's not too bad. Now, some cons would be the filter thread. It's just not great. I don't screw it in the whole way because it's a bit stiff. It's not a massive deal if I'm being honest with you. I just remember not to screw it in the whole way. It's just a little bit stiff when I'm turning it, and I don't want to damage my filter thread in my lens. However, that's really the only thing. I mean, there's such good quality filters when you take into consideration that they've got the scratch resistant coatings on and everything as well. And it's literally half the price of a Black Pro Mist filter, and as far as I can tell, they both kind of take the same sort of method to achieving the diffusion. Then save yourself £50 plus and get this version. I would really, really recommend it. At the moment as well, I can only see the quarter version, but I don't know if they might have a 1/8 version as well, so you could keep a lookout for that. But would I recommend this? Yes, I've done a lot of research. I've tried some of the other filters out, and this just seems to hit that middle ground really, really well. If you like this video, then don't forget to hit the sub button and the bell icon to keep notified. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I've got some more videos on the way, so stay tuned and take it easy.